The small school hall at RAF Scampton wasn't big enough for the hundreds of people who turned up at a public meeting last night. Some people had to stand in the rain outside, straining to hear. That's the level of feeling in the village of Scampton over government plans to house 1,500 asylum seekers there. It's a story that we've been following, of course, from the start. In a moment, we'll be hearing from the leader of the local council, who's been talking directly to the government. But first, Crispin Rolfe has this report.
Our history is getting thrown away for people who are illegal immigrants.
A passionate meeting for people inside and out.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we're going to descend into this, we can't continue with the meeting, so...
Good evening from Scampton in Lincolnshire.
But this is no longer just a local issue, it's a national one. And no longer one about RAF Scampton's past, but its future.
Government are potentially going to use temporary accommodation, Greek-style porter cabins, and place them on the airfield as a hard standing.
Yes, rival visions for the future of RAF Scampton. One as a home to 1,500 asylum seekers, the other a £300 million investment for new business at the former RAF base.
We have a master plan, an investment plan that's ready to go. There is 300 million on the table, and we have made our concerns very clear to the government that these can potentially be lost if they progress with alternative proposals. So I think we've made our position very black and white to government.
Perhaps then at this public meeting in Scampton last night, no surprise about which option people would prefer.
This is not about the immigration centre, It's about the effect that it will have on the development of Scampton, and we need to be very clear.
As ever, all the details and the decision itself are up to the Home Office.
I think everyone's on side that we want the development. The development's important to Scampton.
The heritage for this site is absolutely unique. It is probably the most famous RAF site, certainly in the country.
It would have been nice if the Home Office had come and Edward Lee as well, because, I mean, obviously they're the ones that can answer the questions properly that we want to know.
The local MP, Sir Edward Lees, apologised for not being there, saying he was in a meeting with the Home Office yesterday. But if the government hasn't been to Scampton yet...
So what's the big plan?
...then someone else has.
The small boats issue has come to Scampton. It's come to Scampton in a very, very big way. The proposal that Scampton Holdings have put on the table, if it even half worked, the benefit for this community would be enormous. There is no benefit to this community of a migrant detention centre just down the road.
The government says it won't comment on specific sites, though it's working to identify a range of asylum accommodation options across the country. In the meantime, a petition's been set up over the future of RAF Scampton. Crispin Rolfe, BBC Look North.
Well, the government has said it's talking to the local council, so let's find out what has been said. Councillor Owen Bailey is the leader of West Lindsey District Council. Councillor, good evening to you. Good to have you on the programme. Now, you were in Westminster yesterday. Who did you speak to?
I'm not at liberty to say who or why I was there.
You were talking about Scampton, but why can't you tell me who you were talking to? Were you talking to the MP? Were you talking to the Immigration Minister?
No, neither of those, but I'm not at liberty to disclose that information.
Well, why is it? It's not top secret, is it?
No, it isn't.
Well, why don't you tell me then?
I can't say that. No, I can't disclose that, but I can say that in a situation like this, I'm so passionate about getting the right outcome that I will always go the extra mile.
OK, well, you go the extra mile, but you won't tell me who you spoke to. OK, let me ask you another question. Did you find out if this plan is going ahead for asylum seekers at Scampton, yes or no?
No.
No, it's not going ahead, or no, you didn't find out?
I didn't find out.
You didn't find out?
No, the position is that it remains one of a number of sites that is currently being assessed.
Do you want it to be at Scampton?
No.
The plan for the Heritage Centre, is that now dead, or is it in jeopardy because of the asylum, or possibly a visit of the asylum seekers?
Yes, it is in jeopardy. If the site was to be used for a centre for asylum seekers, it would throw the plans for the future of the site very much in jeopardy, including the really important heritage assets that there are there.
So the possibility of the Heritage Centre is at threat because possibly there's going to be asylum seekers at Scampton?
The reason, part of the reason is that the assets, some of them are listed buildings and they need ongoing maintenance.
Okay, yeah, that's something separate. Why is there so much mystery around this? Why can't you just say this is the situation? You know, why? I don't understand why it's so secret.
No, we haven't had that in-depth conversation. The Home Office announcement was only made 2 weeks ago today.
Yeah, we know that.
It wasn't an announcement. It was an article in the press which alerted us to the possibility.
Okay. Let me ask you one final question. If you were a betting man, from the conversations you've had last night, these top secret conversations which you won't tell me about and who you spoke to, a gut instinct, is Scampton going to be housing asylum seekers, yes or no?
The site is totally unsuited. I think that once there's an acceptance of that...
I know that. Is it a yes or is it a no?
It's at too early a stage to say yes or no.
So you can't say no and you can't say yes?
Exactly.
All right. Well, Councillor, people have formed their own opinions tonight. It's good to have you on the programme. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Well, that's the leader of West Lindsey District Council. Some people will probably want to comment on that. Now, we've had a huge response on this story after we talked about it last night and indeed over the last few weeks. Just a few of the many, and thank you for all of them. Steve, first of all, said, I attended the Scampton meeting. It was rammed. Many had to stand outside in the rain. But my gut feeling is it's already been decided. Patricia says, maybe Scampton isn't the right place for asylum seekers, but can someone let our government know that these are people we are talking about? Thank you, Patricia. And Sarah says, I think the disused halls of residence would have been ideal. That's a reference to Cottingham in East Yorkshire, which we were talking about 2 or 3 weeks back on the programme. But that caused uproar with the locals as usual. There was, as I say, a huge response last night. So thank you very much indeed for all the emails, texts and tweets. We followed the story from the start and we will continue to do so. And what do you think of the answers that we got or not got from the leader of the council?